food is spoiled, and then there's holes in the wall, literally, and the maintenance man, he's like falling through the roof, and there's no Wi-Fi.
Hey Ron.
Hey Billy.
What up, everybody? It's your girl Sherry's Joy with another episode of Bookmarked. This week's book is The Vacation by John Marrs. This book was a really good book. It's to me, it's a psychological fiction. It has been, the genre does say mystery, thriller, psychological fiction, a bunch of different things, but I identified mostly with it as psychological fiction. So again, I'm Sherry's Joy, and welcome to my channel. I am an avid reader. If you love to read, this is definitely the spot for you. I bring you spoiler-free content, and I enjoy what I do, so please, let's get to it. Okay, so The Vacation is about a group of people who are staying at a hostel in Venice Beach, California. And I did not know really that we had hostels here in America, but we did some research on it, and there are some. Yeah, so I would never stay in one, but well, I can't say never say never. But so yeah, it's about these group of people from all over the world who are staying at this hostel, and they all have a different background story. And it's like 9-ish people, but the main characters that we follow, we have Savannah, who is actually from Georgia. Her background story is she's an American living in the South. Her father is a Reverend Devereaux, and she's in an interracial relationship. She is white, and she's dating a black man named Michael, and her father doesn't like that. So father is like a fake reverend, I guess you could say. He's one of those like TV reverends, and one of those like, come here and let me heal you. I'm going to touch you and boom, you can walk. What it reminded me of was, if anyone's ever seen that movie with Steve Martin called Leap of Faith, that's kind of what it reminded me of, like a stadium church thing where, I'm going to heal you and you're healed and you're healed, and we're going to talk to God and all this other stuff. So that's the kind of reverend that her father is, and he's not a good guy. So she escapes, after some trauma happened, she escapes him, and she's like running from her father and his henchmen, or whatever you want to call them, and she ends up at the hostel in Venice Beach. And then we have Nicole and Eric. So Nicole and Eric are actually from London, I believe, England somewhere. I think it's London. And they are best friends. Nicole is a nurse, and she meets Eric because they've been best friends for a couple of years. And she meets Eric. He also works in the hospital in like a separate wing, or whatever you want to say. And she actually one of her patients, Mrs. Baker, passes away and leaves Nicole kind of like not really a scavenger hunt type of thing, but like hey, I had a lot of fun with my husband in America. We traveled from beginning to end, Route 66. And I want you to enjoy those, that life as well. Everybody should have an adventure. And so she leaves her like the information on the adventure. And so Nicole takes Eric with her, and they go to America, and they travel down Route 66. And for those of you who don't know, or if you do know, it's cool. Route 66, it starts off in Chicago, and it ends at the Santa Monica Pier in California. So they travel that whole entire route, and they end up in Venice Beach, and they stay at this hostel. So we have them. And we have Ruth. My girl, Ruth. She is Australian, and she struggles with I don't want to say struggle, but she's Australian, and she's not very pretty. She's overweight, and her parents are separated, and her mother and her brother really get on her about like, oh, you're ugly, you're overweight, and all this other stuff, and no one loves you, and nobody likes you, and yada yada yada. So she's actually like a really big fan of this actor. His name is Zach, Z-A-K. He's an American actor, and she is like obsessed with him, right? It reminded me of my teenage years where I was like, or pre-teenage years where, you know, like you got your teen magazines, Heartthrob, Teen Beat, and all of those things, right? And you take the posters out and you post them on the walls and all that stuff. For me, it was New Kids on the Block. Just saying. So, so anyway, so she wins this contest or this thing where she gets to have lunch with Zach at a restaurant in California, in LA. So she travels to LA to meet with Zach, and you know, she stays at a hostel because that's all she could afford. And she, you know, to meet with Zach and do all that. So then we have her story. We have Tommy. Tommy runs the hostel, and we meet Tommy. It's Tommy, and he's traveling with his best friend Josh. They are also from England, Northampton, England, or something like that. I'm not familiar with England at all, so I apologize. And there was a lot going on. This book was like 503 pages, so, and many characters. So anyway, we'll just say England. Him and Josh are in England, and Josh, or from England. Tommy, he's gone through some family trauma as well. There's like trauma family issues in most of these background stories, but Tommy had just lost his twin brothers in a devastating accident. And, you know, his parents blamed him, and it was like, it's your fault that this happened, and yada, yada, yada. But it really wasn't. It wasn't his fault at all. They were like hit on, and it was a very horrible accident. And shout out, I mean, really kudos to John Mars, because that accident and the way that it was described, it made my skin crawl, right? It was a pretty bad one. It was brutal. We're talking like brutal. So anyways, so Josh, his favorite book is The Beach, written in the 90s. And I didn't know that The Beach was an actual book. I will have to read that. I saw the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was a really good book. So just to give you a quick synopsis, The Beach is, Tommy's perspective of it. He read The Beach and absolutely loves his favorite book. And The Beach is about just finding life, just living life and rolling with the punches and just finding your paradise. Okay. So after, you know, all this rejection from his parents, he's talking to his best friend, Josh, and he's like, yo, let's just go, you know, see where the world takes us, and let's just travel. Let's find our beach. And Josh is like, well, how are we going to know? You're going to know, we're going to know, you know, that we found our beach when we find it. And sometimes it finds us. So anyway, so they go backpacking across America, and they end up in Venice Beach at the hostel there. Then we have Declan and Maddie. Oh, such a heartfelt. So this is all heartfelt, right? They all have like dramatic, that's what I'm saying, it's psychological fiction. Declan and Maddie are from Ireland, and they're traveling the world because we learn that one of them doesn't have much time left on this earth, I'll just say. And so they go, you know, traveling the world. It's kind of like if you knew that you only had like 30 days in this world, what would you do type thing. There was a song if you only had so many days, what would you live? What would you do? Anyways, so it was like that. That reminded me of that. Every character reminded me of something. So it was that type of situation. So they just go see the world. They go skiing and like in France or wherever. They go to all these different places, and they actually end up in Venice at the hostel as well. And we have Jake. Jake is, I don't want to spoil it. So we have Jake and he is not from America. He is also, I believe he's from England, and he he's running away from his past. We'll just say he's running away from his past, and he ends up at this hostel as well. So we have all of these people who have built relationships with one another. They all are going through something, and they're all just trying to make it day by day and just kind of figure out life, right? And they've developed these friendships, this relationship at this hostel, and the book really makes it sound like hostels are places where people become friends and relationships just build. So it's like, 'cause we think of some people like me, I don't know anything about a hostel, right? I just know obviously the movie, like, oh man, oof. I don't want to talk about that movie, but I always identify hostels as like just grungy and grimy, and like I always thought they were overseas. I didn't think we had any in America. And I just think of it as that, like, just not a place that I would want to go. And at the beginning of the book, it kind of like we see that, right? Like they're checking in, and Nicole and Eric are checking in, and a cockroach just is like whatever right across the check-in counter. And then we learn like in the kitchen that the food is spoiled, and then there's holes in the wall literally, and the maintenance man, he's like fallen through the roof, and there's no Wi-Fi, and there's no hot water, and grimy bathrooms and stuff like that, right? So it does mention that. So that's what I'm thinking that a hostel is in my mind. But aside from all of that, I guess the dramatics of it, and I guess the feel good part of it in this book anyway, is that hostels aren't all what you think they are, and there really are good people who stay in hostels. And actually, John Mars does say in his acknowledgments at the end of the book that he has traveled, backpacked through America, and has stayed at hostels. Lo and behold, again, there's hostels in America. And some of the best people he said that he's met have been at hostels. And the book is based very loosely, the characters are very loosely based off of real people that he met staying in a hostel. So there you have it. I recommend this book. It's good. So it's very actiony. I was on the edge of my seat a bunch of times. Ruth, if anything, read this book for Ruth, because she is a character, let me tell you. So her story, it was just like, I was just like, give me the popcorn. I don't eat popcorn, but give me the popcorn. Give me the popcorn. Like, oh my goodness, what's happening next? What? And then, and then Declan and Maddie, just everyone in this book, every main character, I really just felt so sorry for. And out of my stars, I give this an absolute 5. And as far as like tearjerker, definitely a tearjerker. And I say this, like, I still don't cry. Like, I still literally haven't cried from a book yet. However, if I was going to cry, it would be this. And so I actually give it 3 tears. And no spice at all. There was no spice. It's fine. Didn't need spice. But this book has everything, something for somebody, and it's very entertaining. It's a long book. I love it. But it's a definite page turner. Turn. And the chapters are really short, and that helps with the page turning. The thing that I didn't like about the book is that a lot of the chapters mostly end on like a cliffhanger, and then you have to go to the next chapter, and you read about one of the other characters, and then the 2 chapters later, you go back to the cliffhanger. And so it's like back and forth like that with the cliffhangers, but it made it more entertaining that way. I don't know if I would want it any other way. I didn't like it, but I did like it. So I guess I have like a love-hate with it. Would I read another book from this author? Absolutely. I started one this summer. I need to finish it. And then I have like a bunch more from this author in my Kindle library. So I highly recommend it. It was a brilliant book. Loved it. I was very much entertained by it. Every character brought me some kind of something, and I just really enjoyed it. So I appreciate all of you and all of your love and all of your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share the word, share the link and tell people if you know anyone that could benefit from this video or any of my reviews. Check them out, share those as well, and let me know in the comments. Have you read this book? What do you think about this book? Or if you have a book that you think that I would enjoy, hit me up in the comments or just give me a shout out. I appreciate that. I am Sherry's Joy. I am half of the DigiKast. You can find me on Blue Sky at Sherry's Joy. You can find me on Instagram at BookMarkedSJ. I am here on YouTube at BookMarkedSJ. And you can find the DigiKast on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube at the DigiKast. So again, thank you all for your support. Love the world.